Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Thanks for that warning, Ryan. Appreciate it. It is Monday, and all of our guests today, including Paul Dolan, standing by, sponsored by Basant Motors. Get a gift with every financed vehicle this holiday season, like 6 months of gas. No payments until the summer, or a gift card. Rick's excited about that gas. Until the summer, or a gift card up to $1,000. Get all the info at basantmotors.com. Argentina defeats France on penalties in the World Cup final in Qatar. What a match it was. Here to talk about it, our soccer expert. He was part of the Canadian team that went to the 86 World Cup. Paul Dolan, how are you, sir?
I'm great. What a game that was. What a way to finish that tournament, which was probably the best World Cup tournament we've ever seen, topped by that game. Just incredible.
Yeah. Was it, and you alluded to this, Paul, was it one of the best all-time soccer matches you've seen and or one of the best sporting events you've ever seen? Soccer plus.
I saw your tweet. Yeah, I saw your tweet there yesterday, Donnie. Has there ever been a better championship game in any sport? And, you had one of your listeners reply in a tweet that I'm going to read word for word. I'm going to plagiarize this because he absolutely sums it up perfectly, in my opinion anyway. So the question from you, has there ever been a better championship game in any sport? Biggie responds, maybe, question mark. But considering this one game had the Messi GOAT storyline, the Mbappe heir apparent storyline, the record set, the momentum shifts, and the fact it was the pinnacle championship game of the most popular sport on earth, probably. Yeah. And I think that sums it up perfectly. It doesn't have to be definitive. I thought it was the best championship game in any sport I've ever seen. I'd throw it back at you, I guess, or your listeners to tell me something that stands out above and beyond. The Messi and Mbappe storyline, the back and forth, as Figgy says, the momentum shifts. Knowing what that's like to concede, went up 2-0 and in full control, and then you allow that one goal, and all of a sudden you see things crumbling, and you can see it before your own eyes. That World Cup that's in your grasp all of a sudden slipping, and then Mbappe scores it again a minute later, and then you've got to go to penalty kicks. Just the drama for me is unmatched. It was fantastic.
There was a game the Canucks played against the California Golden Seals in '73 at the Coliseum that I thought was equal. But Dolly, you mentioned penalty kicks there. Did that hurt that statement that this may have been the greatest soccer match ever?
I've come full circle on penalty kicks. I used to be in the camp, and I think you might be in here. A game of this magnitude shouldn't be decided on penalty kicks. But I have really come around to the fact that, aside from the fact it's the most dramatic way to end it, which is what we watch sports for, is the drama, in my opinion anyway. Of course, I'm a neutral watching that, and you don't want to lose it on penalty kicks. But there's no better way to determine it. You can't continue to go on. It just leads to legless soccer. You saw the French defender Varane at one point at 108 or 109 minutes have to kick the ball out and just collapse. They have no more to give, especially in a condensed tournament where they're playing every 3 or 4 days right near the final. So I like the idea of going to penalty kicks. It involves about at least half the team, the shooter plus the goalkeeper, 5 shooters if it gets to that, or maybe more. There is skill involved. You've got to pick a corner, or you've got to outweight the goalkeeper. There's strategy involved, who goes first, where you select your shooters, and the nerve. Playing for a World Cup, how does that affect you mentally? I love it now. I've come full circle on the whole thing, and I'm a proponent of finishing the games on penalty kicks, and I think it just made all the more drama in the end. You see an unknown fullback taking the winning kick, and now he's a lifetime hero in Argentina forever.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree on that, Dolly, but I certainly did not turn off the television. No one did, and no one left the stadium either. Messi wins a World Cup, scores 7 goals in Qatar, gets the golden ball. Where is he now on the list of all-time greats?
Do I have to answer that?
Go for it.
If if you don't think he is the best player to have ever played the game, and of course it's impossible, I think, to compare eras, to a Pele or a Maradona even, but the numbers are there, the trophies are there. It was there for all to see as well in 4K. Anybody who watched that tournament. Lionel Messi is the best player, and I'd put him in the argument of best athlete. But again, I don't think that needs to be definitive. He's, to me, the best soccer player who's ever played the game. His goals, his assists, his inspiration to a team. Argentina doesn't win that World Cup without that one player, where France perhaps could win without Mbappe, or one of the other teams, Brazil, could win without a Neymar. But Lionel Messi won that trophy for Argentina yesterday. And you could argue that Diego Maradona did that for Argentina in 1986. So I don't want to compare eras, but for me, yes, he is the best of all time.
Paul, 4 of the last 5 men's World Cup finals have gone to extra time. Is that parity? When you look at the top countries in the world every 4 years, are you sensing the parity?
Yeah, and you can see that the quarterfinals, the semifinals, these teams needed to work their way through the tournament to get where they were. First of all, it's a game of football or soccer, right? Like there's only a goal in every game generally. That's what made a 3-3 game so much more exciting as well, that there was goals back and forth. And again, I've said this before too, I'm not really one to say that, a 0-0 game can be exciting. I want to see goal-mouth action. And so it was a very exciting game to have seen that. The other thing I'd just say back to the penalty kick thing too, and the fact that games are so tight, is I don't think we're finding teams are playing for penalties like they used to anymore either. I thought it was a much more attack-minded World Cup. It was the most number of goals ever scored in this format since 1998 with the 32 teams. And teams were looking to get out on the attack. Argentina came flying out of the gates in that game. France were just not at the races. It was, I don't know if it was virus related or if it was just they were caught off by how aggressive Argentina was. But I don't find that teams are sitting back defensively. You could argue that Morocco, that was their style of play, but they had players to play out of that as well, really attractive soccer players that could get at you and score goals of their own. So the fact that teams are looking to score now, it just means that you're going to get games that are close because you're back and forth. It's not like you score one goal and the game's over anymore where you can just sit back and defend. I think teams are now capable, and they are. There's a lot of parity of playing against each other at the highest level and having close games.
Paul, organizers from Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. Were there, obviously. So the world stage is coming to us in 4 years. What do you think these 3 countries can learn from Qatar on hosting this world event with the whole world watching?
Not to put a robe on the guy who's lifting the trophy at the end. Or the Canadian tuxedo. What are we going to put a guy in a jean jacket when he?
Yeah, no kidding.
That to me was a little offside. I understand maybe culturally that's what they do in Qatar. But for me, that spoiled it a little bit.
Offside.
Yeah, I'd agree. You know what? I think that the World Cup was very well hosted. There are a lot of things off the field that we need to spend hours on, not just a segment here. But if we're talking about the performance of the host to put together a World Cup that was entertaining to watch on the field, beautiful stadiums and everything else, obviously that was well done by Qatar. But I don't think it has any relationship to what we have in North America. We have predetermined built stadiums already for North American football or soccer here already in place. And it's 3 countries that are fully spread out, not just within 45 minutes of each other. I don't know that there's a lot to take from the Qatar World Cup, except the fact that hopefully we're going to see the same quality soccer once the final kickoff takes place in 4 years' time.
I was okay with the robe, but it was see-through. I think the last time I saw one of those was at the NBI in the 80s.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it wasn't the 80s, by the way, but probably more recently. I'm going to get the Adidas plug in here. It didn't help the 3 stripes, did it, having that thing covering the logo?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
The world's best player wearing Adidas and the world's best team now, and you're wearing some mock over top of it.
Yeah, like you say, there's undoubtedly some cultural significance, so we'll end the conversation there. Dolan, this has been great the last few weeks. Yeah. We thank you so much for joining us and adding your expertise, and Lord knows we need it on the show. Thanks so much, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you guys. Really enjoyed it. Take care.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Paul.
Paul Dolan,